Thank you for joining us today for the virtual Sunday service with the Center for Creative Living. CCL, a charter of the Universal Church of the Master, has served and supported the spiritual needs of its community here in the Bay Area for over 20 years.
Good morning, and welcome to the Center for Creative Living. If this is your first time here, or you've been coming for the last 20 years, we're so glad to have you here, because each Sunday is unique. We specifically like to have different people giving us their view on spirituality, their view on life, because we know that you all hold something separate in your heart. And whatever it is, we honor it. And we have a special thing going on today after we close. Meet our wonderful April out in the parking lot. That sounds like an invite to do something exciting, but it is, because we have all of the prayers that have been in the little brown jug over here, that you would put your prayers in. We take those and we're going to be putting them in a cauldron, because our wonderful April is a goddess person, and she has this marvelous cauldron that she's going to release the prayers and send them up for you. And we do this about every quarter. So we're glad you're here. So after service, please join us in the parking lot. Okay? This is one of these mornings where, you ever have a morning where you wake up and you're glad to be alive?
Yes.
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 And that's, for me, I had a birthday party last night.
Yeah.
So I woke up and just went, yay, it is great to be alive. And it's one of those things that you forget when you wake up in the morning to say thank you to Creator. Thank you, I'm alive. This is a pretty nice place to be right here, right now, today. And I wanted to mention that because I was doing a reading on a woman who said, well, Dottie, everybody loves you. How come? And I said, because I love myself.
Ooh.
And she said, how do you do that?
Mm-hmm.
Because she is old. She's 42.
Oh, no.
Oh, no.
She is fat. She weighs 130.
What?
And she
What?
is ugly.
What?
Because she doesn't have as much hair as she thinks she should. We can imagine how that hit me. I said, you're 42. I'm 84. I've been bald since I was 16. And I happen to be overweight. And guess what? I love me.
Yeah.
And she started to cry. And she said, tell me how to do that. Well, everybody, before we start, I want you to close your eyes and take both hands, wrap them around your heart, and say, I love myself.
I love
myself.
Just the way I am.
Just the
way I am.
And so it is.
So it is.
So it is.
Good way to start out church.
So Dottie, you got happy birthdays from Rachel Cooley and from Julie.
And that, thank you so much. Before we really start this morning, we want to dedicate this entire service to loving ourselves, to send to Chin Lee. Her husband, Glenn, passed this morning. And Glenn Dunning has been a member of UCM for the last 35 years.
That's right.
And we have honored Chin Lee many times for the service and the dedication of taking care of him during these last years. It's been very difficult. And our wonderful Reverend Dr. Janet Childs went up there and saw her and saw Glenn just a few weeks ago. And to honor somebody who was as young as he wasn't 60 yet, for passing and having miserable years, it's easy, because we know that he's passed and we honor him. But to honor Chin Lee, who was there by his side, constantly working, loving, praying over this man, we want to send our blessings to her. She's here having to take care of that. So now we're going to present a candle, and please Janet Childs is going to come and present the candle for Reverend Glenn Dunning and his wife, Reverend Shenley. To you we give our love. May Glenn fly with the angels, and may you be held gently in our loving arms, and know your endless love has been revealed and found. We ask Spirit to move in this family. We ask Spirit to move in comfort and grace. May they know they are loved forever, and we will hold you in our hearts in memory. Sweet gently, we are here for you. Glenn, fly free on the wings of your destiny. Amen. Oh, thank you. Thank you all for putting your prayers into this wonderful day and blessing both Shenley and Glenn. And another blessing I want to send out for our Reverend Ann. I'm going to cry, but that's okay. This is her last Sunday here in person. She's going to be coming in on Zoom because she's moving to Eugene this week. And we want to thank you so very much for having been our associate pastor. It seems like forever. Reverend Ann is one of those people, anytime I've said to Annie, would you do such and such? She doesn't say when, why, how, or what for. She just says, sure, what do you want me to do? And to have that type of support, I don't know how many of you have ever wanted somebody to be a support person for you, but yet they always seem to either argue or think they knew better or did it differently. Well, now Annie didn't argue, but she could do it differently because she knew it was okay with me, I'd say, Annie, would you do this? And she'd go and she'd do it. And so I want to thank you. We have let go of Glenn. And it's a lot more difficult to let go of you because we know that your heart is going to be with us even though you're moving. So we want you to visit on a regular basis, okay?
Oh, yeah, I will.
Okay, sounds good.
Yeah. May not make it next Sunday, but I'll be a little road worn.
Now, on to other letting go was difficult, but we're starting something brand new. Next Thursday, we're starting our year-long class schedule. Yes, and this is metaphysical classes that are metaphysical, spiritual, and ministerial. You sign up for this year of classes, and at the end, you become a UCM minister, Universal Church of the Master Minister, which is what Annie and Eileen and Ronnie and Janet and Joan and and Courtney are members of the Universal Church of the Master. And so I want you all to think about it. What would it be to be a minister? Well, you don't have to wear a collar, and you don't have to act like you're better than. Because you know.
But you can?
You don't have to be pious.
Because we know we're all the children of Source. So whoever we are, we're great. And that's why we have members of the Universal Church of the Master that are Christian, and they're Catholic, and they're Buddhist, and they're Jewish, and they're Islamic, and they're some of the goddess people, and we have a representation from every faith and every attitude. We don't care whether you're gay or straight or trans or bi. It doesn't make any difference. You are a child of God. So what we're doing in these classes, we are going to teach you how to get in touch with spirit guides, how to do aura readings, how to be a spiritual in your everyday. And they're going to be held at our headquarters, which is the Universal Church of the Master, in Campbell, and rather San Jose. They're right on the border of San Jose and Campbell. So if you're interested, please see Corky or myself afterwards, and we'll send you a calendar events and a syllabus that you can read about all of our instructors, how we're doing this and what we're doing. And we'd like for you to come to the first class because it's free, and it's an introduction, and you can come and listen to what's going on and see, hey, I never thought I wanted to be a minister. I thought I wanted to be a coal miner or whatever it is you want to be. But it's interesting, and it gives you an interesting outlook on life. The first time somebody comes up and say, the minister, and you go, wow. Yeah, and so it makes you feel like, not better than, but just that you're there to help. And that's always a good feeling when you can get that. I'm there to help.
And Dottie,
Yes.
they'll be offered at UCM headquarters or Zoom, is that correct?
Yes, UCM headquarters, Zoom, and we're also going to put it on YouTube. And the first one's free, and the others are $15 a class or 2 for $25. So there's another minister standing back there. Yes, Chris.
I just wanted to say something
Yeah.
that was important to me, I don't know, 7, 8 years ago.
Why don't you come up, Chris?
Because I don't know if I can move, that's why. I danced yesterday.
Yeah, that should be on.
That's perfect. Thank you, Chris. That's wonderful.
So what was really important to me in this question of ministry and do I take the classes, somebody said to me, it's not because you're already there. It's just, do you have a desire to explore these issues? And do you have a desire to express them? It's about that inquiry and desire. This is what I'm saying. You don't have to see yourself as a minister in order to start. And you may not even get there. But the idea of serving and the idea of understanding, exploring the nature of your own spirituality, if that's of interest to you, that's by far enough. And you just don't even know where it's going to lead.
Thank you.
Beautiful.
Thank you. Yes,
And I would,
I was just going to say that for those of us that are already ministers, doesn't mean we can't attend some of the classes. I'm not going to be necessarily going to be certified for anything, but there's going to be classes, like, when Joan teaches a class, or Jan teaches a class, or anybody that teaches a topic, and Eileen, and, and, oh yes, my friend Lonnie, these topics, you can always learn more. And I'm going to be growing my spirituality because I'm going to be expanding that into my new life in Eugene as well. So I want to pass it on and bring people in and share the energy.
and to add to that, I would just like for all of you to remember what is happening on September 10th.
UCM Annual Conference.
UCM Annual Conference, and it's going to be an amazing one. Amazing one. We're going to hear from Reverend Dr. Jelusic and his wife about their experience in Mexico when he contracted COVID. And there's just incredible wisdom that's going to be shared. Reverend Joyce Brown and Reverend Mary Gary are doing an amazing workshop. So please join us. It's wonderful. It's cheap if you get your money in. It's only $35 for the whole day, and that includes lunch and lots of goodies.
You don't have to be a member to attend.
Not at all. Thank you, Rachel. Do not have to be a member to attend.
And I'm in charge. I get to stand up again. I'm in charge of the silent auction, and it's pretty exciting.
Yep.
Got a lot of neat stuff.
Yes,
So,
you do.
Okay.
Yeah, a friend came over and looked at everything's laid out in a room in my house, and we have this wonderful Buddha. And she came walking out of the room with it and said, I want this. And I said, but then you have to attend. And she said, well, I'll just give you the money right now. I said, no, you have to come and bid on it. She said, other people might get it? Yes, put it back. Who'd almost walked out of my house. So it was kind of like, okay, so we know we got some interesting pieces in the silent auction. Okay, anybody have any announcements? Yes, Annie. Annie is holding snickerdoodles.
You guys are going to get some later on.
At the end of service, these are my birthday gift to you, is a homemade snickerdoodles, and so please take a couple.
And I'm the love yak, which means I get to carry them around. This being my last Sunday, I am always the ride for Amanda. Amanda needs somebody that is willing to pick her up on Sunday mornings. She lives near the plant, which is Monterey and Kirtner. She's a lovely passenger and always has filled with so many amazing, I get to hear about her dreams and all the wonderful insights that she has on the way to church every week. So really, we're just looking for somebody that is willing to pick Amanda up and help her get to church and then bring her back home again after, okay? So
And some of you might not know this, but she's got a great crew. She was dancing yesterday, and it was wonderful to see her dancing, and we really appreciated that. And so, I've talked to Annie, or I've talked to Amanda after service, if you know somebody that could help. And because having her here is great, but also she's going to be attending classes to become a minister. And I just, every time I think all these people we've got, I'm just like, yay, this is so great. And I think, Lauren, you're going to help her get to class. So Lauren's going to be her ride for class. And now we just need somebody that can help Amanda get to church. Okay? Thank you. Any other announcements?
So Julie said, thank you all for your love, prayers, and blessings for both Glenn and I.
Oh, yeah, thank you. Yes. Okay. Well, you're all very quiet this morning. I know, you're just looking forward to the snickerdoodles, that's why.
There's snickerdoodles in our future.
There's snickerdoodles.
there are snickerdoodles in your future.
If
That's
you
right.
would please, we're going to invite our wonderful Reverend Dr. Eileen Augustina to do a meditation. You have to wiggle around bodies here.
Oh, no problem.
I'm gonna move my chairs over, I think.
Oh, you don't have to move it too much. We're good.
Either that or I'm gonna be looking at your rear end during the whole meditation.
And the problem is what?
Well, might make her nervous.
Well, that's okay. Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Oh, all right, everyone take a nice deep breath in and then let it out. Whether it's through your mouth, through your nose, whatever feels right for you. And then I want you to take another slightly deeper breath in for a count of 4. Take a deep breath in for a count of 4, then you're going to hold it for 4. Deep breath in. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now hold it. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now exhale for 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And I want you to just kind of be in your body, be in that seat. Notice the seat that's holding you up. Be aware of the pressure that it exerts on your body, the different parts that exert pressure different ways. And now I want you to see if you can sense the energy of it. Feel how it's different from your energy as an object, and yet it holds energy. As a conscious being, you hold energy. And just for a moment, consider your energy and how it differs from the energy around you. And then feel all the other people in all the other chairs that are in this room. Notice that each one has a different vibration. Each one has a different energy. Some may be similar frequencies to yours. yours and others may be completely different. And yet, just as the chair you're sitting on, they carry energy too. Now I want you to picture each one of those little bits of energy as a light in a night sky. And as you reach out and resonate with each one of those energies, notice that there are other energies that are there. Energies from those from your past. Energies from those from your future. Your ancestors and descendants. And as you soften your energy and allow it to resonate, you suddenly notice that there's harmonies that are created. Harmonies created from those who have passed who love you. For love is an energy that is eternal. And you feel it as though they are right next to you. And then you expand your energy out. Just let it flow like ripples on a pond. And as they gently flow out, you feel the energy of your descendants. You feel the energy of those who will be in your life sometime in the future. And as you allow that ripple to grow, you feel the energy of the earth. You feel the energy as it moves through space. You feel the energy as it moves past stars. You feel the energies of stars being born and of stars dwindling down. And you have no attachment. It is all simply flowing, and you are a part of that flow. And as you move through, you suddenly feel that you are everything and nothing at the same time. That you expand to the universe until the perception of you as an individual is no longer there. You are everything, everyone who has ever been or will ever be. And yet, your own unique frequency, your own unique vibration moves through as it crosses other ripples. And you are at peace, knowing that whatever happens, you will always be a part of that frequency, a part of that harmony. You are never alone, even at those times when you feel it. And I want you to take another deep breath in, and as you take that breath in, feel that resonance, all those infinite ripples moving through you gently and softly. And as you exhale, allow that exhale to move your own ripple forward until you are everything and nothing. And as you sit with those ripples, as you sit with those overflowing harmonies, those overflowing frequencies, know that the self that you are meant to be is also a ripple. That vision of yourself, that highest self, that true balance of both light and shadow, allow it to expand until that too is everything and nothing. And when you reach that point where you think you've gone as far as you can go, allow yourself like the tide to move back, gently acknowledging and bidding farewell for now to all those ripples, knowing that they will always be a part of you and you will always be a part of them. And as you bring yourself back into this moment, into this space, bring your awareness again to your chair that is supporting you, that is holding you. Because often we don't realize or pay attention to how much support we have for those who are supporting us. Send a thought to the spirit of the chair you're sitting on, saying thank you. Thank you for supporting me. And have that thanks ripple out to all those who maybe should have a thank you. Thank you for being with me. Thank yourself for all the choices you've made, for all the
I raise my heart to the world, I see your hands reaching out to me, helping me to be free. We are all one, dancing in the light. We are all one, each individual being, bringing us just what you have to bring. No matter where the source is, you are a part of it, and feeling whole and bringing yourself home to this day. When I raise my eyes to the sky, I see the stars shining back to illuminate my life, and I know I am a part of everything. I am no one thing that is separate. I am one with this world, and the universe sings, and the love grows, and we are holding hands around the world, and the presence and the breath goes, and we are ever being made whole in the one that brings us home. We are one, full of love. We are one, full of light. We are one. We are one. We are one. Just take another deep breath. And when you're ready, come back to me. I want to thank you so very much, Reverend Ronnie Craig on the drums, Reverend Dr. Janet Childs on the vocals, Reverend Dr. Eileen Augustine for the wonderful meditation. I don't know about you, but I had my eyes closed, and when I meditate, I just let whatever flows. And all of a sudden, when you were saying, we are one, I was standing there watching Martin Luther King, and it was like, and we are one. And I went, wow, where did that come from? You know, usually this is something we celebrate, but there was such a wonderful magnificence there of being a part of that group, that congregation. So thank you for bringing that through. Okay, we've got an excellent speaker talking about being here, because she's talking about being right versus getting it right. And Tiffany is, like somebody said, oh, you're having a young person speak today. And I thought, well, that's such a pleasant way of putting it, as we are. And you know, and we want to thank you so much for being here, Tiffany. You're always such a wonderful adjunct to our church. And come on over and please welcome Tiffany. I'm going to scoot over a little bit more, or just push my chairs for me. Yeah. Those of you who notice, my knees don't bend too well, so I've got.
She was rocking out yesterday, that's it.
Well, that could explain it, right?
Yeah. Rosalie and I couldn't keep up with Rosalie.
I couldn't keep up with Rosalie.
Oh, thank you all for having me. Oh, sure.
Okay, now,
There she
you
is.
see that you have it until it gets to the 11th.
Okay.
Big hands goes to the.
Thank you all for having me here today. It's been a while since I've been able to come and be with this beautiful energy and spirit, and I just feel very honored that regardless of where my life takes me, that I always have you guys to hold me and to keep my energy safe. So thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Tiffany.
So this isn't traditionally what I talk about, but going through a lot of my coaching sessions, this thread has been coming up for a lot of my clients. And so when I asked, when Corky and Dottie asked me to talk, I wasn't quite sure what to talk about, because I normally talk about creating your best life and law of attraction and manifestation and happy things. But right now there's a shift in the world, and the shift in the world is I'm right, you're wrong, and I'm going to put my feet in the ground in the sand and be stubborn, and it stops the flow of energy. Has anybody else experienced that with anything?
Amen, you're talking.
Okay. So in innate nature, we always want to be right. I mean, it's in our human DNA that we want to be right all the time. Who wants to be wrong? Nobody. Nobody wants to be wrong. We all want to be right. So when it comes down to being right, is it more important to be right, or is it more important to do right? Because when you are being right, who is number one in all aspects, in all opinions? You, selfishly. Do you see other people's sides or opinions with respect and love? Or do you see your opinion or ideals as this is the way it is? I learned it from this book, or I heard it from this person, or I had this download and I am right. And what's the first thing that comes up to you when you feel, when you hear that? Ego, right? How many of you play in the ego sandbox? We all do, right?
On occasion.
Oh, yeah, oh, yeah.
Right, yeah. And that's not an always feel-good sandbox to be in, right? Because who else is in there with you? No one. No one. So when you acknowledge somebody else for their ideals and their opinions, now you've moved from the ego sandbox into a loving sandbox, because you're listening, you're honoring. How many of you know people, or how many of you are in direct connection with people that have lost friends over politics?
Or family. I know.
Or family, right? And if you actually go back and look at the argument that you had with the person or the observation, so we're just going to take this as a you and them situation rather than encompassing everybody. You all know what I'm talking about. So if it was you that lost the relationship because of politics or any thought, right? It could be over recycling. I mean, let's get real, right? If you think you're right and you fight tooth and nail to prove that you're right, and you lose the relationship because you were hell-bent on driving the point home, who wins? Nobody wins, right? So if you go back and you look at those situations where you lost family members or you lost friends over politics, because that's a big thing going on right now, right? If you would have listened to their side, respected them for them, their decision, their opinion, and vice versa, they respected you for your side and your opinion, I am not referring to let's agree to disagree. Because is that high level vibration, energy, emotion? Or is that, I still don't like your opinion, but I agree to disagree with you? Do you see the difference? So if I listen to you, I honor and respect you as the person that you are, can we still have different opinions? Regardless of the emotion and, this is how I feel. But if I see you as you and honor you and respect you as you, is any relationship lost? And who wins?
Everybody.
Everybody. So there's so much going on right now of people wanting to be right and to do right. In contrast, being right is being selfish. You are looking at your own ideals, your own opinions, your own everything. Ego plays a big part in being right, correct? You play in that sandbox, it's my way or the highway, right? And you lose relationships along the way, but what do you lose most? Love. So much of society today lacks transitions or transactions or energy passing through with love. It lacks it because we have gone from doing right within society to being right. We have gone from, instead of seeing ourselves as right, we're standing on the value of I am right, which only doesn't make us stand up, but it brings us down as far as energy goes. When you're doing right, you're selfless. Why are you selfless? You're selfless because you see all sides. Nobody says that you have to agree. Not one person says that you have to agree in order to allow them their opinion. You can listen, acknowledge, and move on. One of my very, very, very best friends who's here today. We celebrated my birthday a few months ago, and I finally got my gifts from her, and I meant to bring them today. But one of them said, let that shit go. Because when you worry about other people's opinions, it's like an anchor, is it not?
Mm-hmm.
And isn't being right and driving the point home over your opinion, over your opinion, over your opinion, anybody's opinion, isn't that putting them down, not having synergy come through, not hearing them, loving them, all of that? It is, right? So in doing right, you're selfless because you're not putting your opinion over anybody else. Kind of like what you said earlier in the sermon. You said becoming that, like becoming a minister doesn't make you better than, right? You're not going into the situation better than. It also gives you a little bit of humbleness. Right? You take a step back, you listen. You might learn something if you're just open to what other people think. And being right is destructive. How many times have you been in a situation where somebody asked you to do something and you did it to the best of your ability, whether it was with work and you did a document, or whether it's with your mom or your dad or your children or your friend, and they asked you to do something and you fell short. It didn't come out the way they anticipated. And they came back to you and said, you did it wrong. I expected you to do it this way. I am right. How does that make you feel? Bad, right? Destructive behaviors. Right? But when you come to that same situation of being right, of them asking you and you came up short, having a conversation of, this is how I expected it to be done. This is how you did it. Let's try it better next time. Or let's work together if you are struggling. and open the line of communication. That might even give them the opportunity to say why it turned out that way. Like Annie, Dottie gives her an assignment and off she goes and does it. But if it was different than what Dottie expected, and they had a logical conversation, rather than Dottie saying, this is how I wanted it, Annie has a chance to say, I did it this way because of whatever. Is there any relationship loss? None, because it's open communication. Consistent, open, loving. But I want to kind of get off of being right versus doing right and go to relationships. Because we all have opinions. We all have our thoughts. We all have the way we look at things. And we all have the power or decision to change the way we look at things. My favorite quote, as you all know is my favorite quote, when you change the way you look at things, the way you look at things changes. Does it not? But if you are not open to somebody else's ideals, communication, you never have the opportunity to change the way you feel or change the way you see things or move about in higher vibration. You stay in lower vibration. This is the way I feel. Nobody else feels this way, but this is how I feel. How does that make you feel inside? When you bring stuff from the past and you say, but when I was 5 years old, my mom told me to do X, Y, Z, and that has still chapped my hide at 60 years old. Do you see the energy that brings from that? You are not right because of that. You're not seeing the whole perspective. You're not listening. You're not communicating. You are not coming through that energy surface with love. How many of you notice that not a lot of love has been going around the last few years?
And you're hanging out with the wrong people.
I'm talking about observation. I have lots of love within my life, as well as all of you do, but I'm talking about outside our bubble, right? Because we have the choice to put anything in our bubble that we want, right? We have the choice to go through life and only live in our bubble and not have anything affect you. You have that choice. You have that right. You have the power to make that decision. So now let's talk about opinions. Let's revert back to opinions. I had a lady come into the store the other day, and I kind of use the store that I work at as my playground. So many people come in and bring baggage. I work at a dress shop. And so it's wonderful the amount of clients that I've gotten come out of there and friendships and the things I've learned for myself by letting my ego and checking it at the door and just being open to what happens. But this lady looked absolutely amazing in this dress. Beautiful. And I told her, and she said, well, I'm going to this wedding and I just don't know what other people are going to think. Now, in that moment, what did you guys feel?
Sorry for her.
Sorry.
Bad for her.
Oh, wait.
How many times have you worried so much about what somebody else thinks?
Too
many times. Too many times. So, are they right because they have an opinion? Are you right because you decided to give them power over your decision to how you want to feel? It's a no-win, especially when you're driving. How many times have you driven down the road and somebody irks you and you take that irk all the way through your day? It's the same thing, just different wording. You have given that person that you will never see again in your whole life your power for the whole day based on you being upset with them. And they have no clue. Zero. But they sure did take your power because you decided to let them take your power. You decided to let them be right rather than acknowledging, hey, that's how we go. We flow on the road. This is just flow. Let it go. As my sign says, let that go. And off you go. Because when you let somebody else's opinion change the way you feel, or change the way you want to feel, or impact you in any way, you are deciding to say, Janet, you can have my power for the day. And she says, thank you very much. Do you want to give your power away? No. We don't want to give our power away because it is destructive. It is uncommunicative. It is rendering us powerless rather than empowered. So the next time you stand in front of the mirror and you worry about what somebody else thinks based on your hair color, based on the way you look, based on the dress that you're wearing, based on the pants that you're wearing, based on any opinion that you have, when you are worried about them being more right than you, you need to let it go. Let their opinion, their being right, go, and you take back your power and how much you love yourself. As Dottie said in the beginning, it's all about self-love, right? It's all about loving ourselves enough to love somebody else's opinion. Is it not? So when we love ourselves, when we wake up in the morning, like she said, we wake up, we feel good. I can have a discussion with you about any subject under the sun, and still be a best friend when we disagree. And it's not about saying, well, let's agree to disagree, because we've never done that, have we? We've talked about some hairy stuff. It's about, I acknowledge and respect your vision and your version of it, and she acknowledges my version and respects my version of it. And that's how it's all based on love. I love her. She's my friend. I love you. We've had discussions, some heated ones, right? I was gonna say, I've had heated discussions with her back there too. So, but they get heated because we see our point as right. But when we take a step back and we show that by communicating and listening, we're doing right by not only the human race, but we're doing right by ourselves. So I know I repeated right several times during this talk, but I really want you to take away from this that it is when you love yourself enough to allow somebody else to have an opinion that is different from yours, and you can still get along and still move forward, then you have a win. And when you do get heated, and when you do get upset, take a deep breath and say, why? Why did I get upset? Why do I have to be right? Why is this so important to me that I have to be in an argument or a negative confrontation and not see all sides? I'm going to leave you, I have several more minutes, but I'm going to leave you with an example. Somebody comes into your home and they are a friend and they are wearing a t-shirt that offends you. How do you feel? How would you feel?
If they're wearing a t-shirt that offends me, I would take a moment and feel that offense, but it's their right.
It's their right.
It's their right.
But aside from it being their right, Whose choice is it to be offended?
It's my choice.
Did they offend you?
They didn't offend me.
Did the t-shirt offend you?
No, I chose for it to offend me.
You chose. You decided to be offended. So, same situation, Janet. Person comes into your house and they're wearing a pin of a cult that is definitely not something you support. Are you offended? Do you tell them to take it off, or do you allow them to express their own opinion?
Hopefully, I will allow them to express their own opinion.
And if you don't, and you have a communication, then what are you doing? Open communication. I feel this way. Can we discuss it?
I might ask somebody to help me understand. Help me understand what it is that you see in this cult. Or
Right, or whatever the pin is, or the t-shirt, or whatever.
Yeah.
Donna has a question on how do you respect someone who states that the Uvalde massacre did not occur?
So so it's their opinion that this horrible thing didn't happen, regardless of what it is. It could be anything. It could be that you walked through that door and tripped and broke a toe. Doesn't matter the situation. But if they are having a conversation with you over a place and time in history, and they say that it didn't happen, whose opinion is that? Theirs. Does it have to be your opinion?
No.
If it becomes your opinion, who decided that?
You did.
You did. She can't make you decide to acknowledge an event or disacknowledge an event. So if somebody is plowing it home that this massacre, as she said, didn't happen, do you still have the power of choice? You can listen, open communication, rather than being destructive. You can be constructive and say, I hear you, kind of like feel, felt, found. I feel the same on this subject. I think it happened. I see your point.
But you can also say, I prefer not to talk about that topic.
You can too. You can remove yourself. That's another way too. But if there was a way that you need to get around it and have the communication, talk about it, communicate, be constructive. You don't have to tell them that it happened or play in that sandbox that it happened. You said 11. I have 4 minutes.
Oh, I'm sorry. From here.
That's right. I heard her.
That's right.
Yeah, from here I've got an angle that's
She's got a glare.
I can hear my mom snickering on the Zoom.
No, that's fine.
So,
And I'm-
communication, right?
Right, communication.
So, leave here by checking your ego. Check where you are. Find out how you want to feel in any situation. And if you disagree with somebody, that is okay. They are where they are, you are where you are. You don't have to agree with everybody that you are in the same energy with. You don't have to. And you don't have to disagree either. You can just respect them for their opinion as they respect you for yours. And if they don't, then you can decide or make a choice to move on. But whose choice is it?
Yours.
Yours. So that's how I'm going to leave you, even before 11.
Oh, my God. Bravo. Thank you, Cindy. Thank you.
The clock is a little bit slow, and I had a different angle. So, but I want to share something with you while you were doing that. And you know how it brings up ideas, and she brought up a lot of things, but this is one that works. I was sitting in my office one night, and it was dark outside. It was in the winter. I was all by myself in that big building, and the front door slams open, and my office door slams open, and this man says, Doti Boon, you're a goddamn son of a bitch.
Wow.
And I realized, I'm all by myself. And this man is standing there looming, and I said, okay. And he said, well, what I mean is, you told my wife some things that I don't agree with. And I said, okay. He said, well, you know, part of what you said made sense. I said, okay. And he said, well, do you think I could have a reading? And I said, okay. And think of that, is I didn't disagree, but I said something. And I have found that the word okay works perfectly. Because some people just want to be heard. And, you know, it can be outrageous, so think of that. Okay. And usually when I'm doing a reading and I give that story, you know what they say? Okay. The power of that little word is amazing. Right now what we're going to do is we're going to have a closing, but before we have a closing, because Annie is wearing 2 hats, and right now we're going to pass around some cookies. Could we have somebody help Annie pass cookies so she doesn't have to pass the basket? These are homemade snickerdoodles. Please pass them. These are birthday cookies to celebrate my birthday, okay? So here we go.
Why don't you take one and then I'll take one.
Yeah, you can read what the stewards say.
You do that, we'll do this. You want to do the,
Yes, on the back, you have the sacrament of giving. You can all join in. It says,
giving to the ministry from which I receive my spiritual support and nurturing is an affirmation and consciousness of the truth that spirit is the prospering power enriching every area of our lives.
And so it is.
Now, if when the basket comes by, if you're not putting anything in it, please hold your hand over the basket and put in a blessing, put in a prayer. Put in a prayer for our dear Glenn and Chen Lee and for anybody else who has lost somebody. So that works too.
Okay, so, what we have is, Ellie and Joyce say, so good to see you, Ronnie, love and hugs to you. And Donna says, what are the, you guys love the meditation, Dr. Eileen?
Pick it up, but there's a wall. You guys want another one?
And we've got cups of coffee in the back, so as soon as we close, you can grab a cup of coffee and go with
I
that.
say, beautiful Dr. Eileen, Janet, and Ronnie, thank you. Donna says, I she did a, and then Lynn Rogers says hello from Lynn, Vanessa, and Chris. And then Donna says, thank you, Tiffany. And Rick talked to Tiffany and Betty and Joyce. And so then Donna says, wonderful. Thank you for your advice and wonderful. Thank you.
Yeah, and thank you so much, Tiffany.
Wonderful.
I have you all take a cookie and then ask you to clap. I mean, right. You say, okay.
Okay, please have seconds on the cookies.
I'll put, I'm just gonna go to the.
Oh, I will take one and then you're gonna do a closing and Ronnie's gonna go put the cookies over the floor. Okay? All right, or let's people grab one when they leave. Jim, did you get a cookie?
You need one, Amanda?
Yes. You want, Amanda wants another.
Do you need a cookie?
Amanda wants another.
Cookie master here.
Wait, I need to hit these with some tape.
I have a mouthful of cookies, hold on.
Those cookies are really good with coffee.
Really good with
Excellent
coffee.
with
So
coffee.
we got coffee coming up. Here we go.
Thank you to Jen for those. Snickerdoodles are amazing. And I'm gluten free, so. I ate one anyway, I don't care.
Some things just go beyond being gluten.
That's it.
This is it.
Wow, so look out at everybody, very nice. It's gonna be a little last time for a while anyway. I'll be standing in front of all of you. Corky, you're gonna have to figure out a way to allow people to talk through Zoom on occasion, so once in a while I can throw in a closing prayer through Zoom. Yeah, just do something. I just want to start with gratitude and love. They go hand in hand.
I'm so grateful for the love and the support and the beautiful energy that everybody has given to me throughout the years. And Reverend Doti Boon, thank you so much for everything. You know, I love myself today because of this woman. She helped guide me to finding that way. So for those of you that aren't sure and you think you never can find it, take the classes. Thank you. Take a moment, close your eyes. Let's breathe in lots of love and light. Let's breathe out anything and everything that just isn't sitting right with us right now. Dearest Mother, Father God, and dear Creator, we thank you for this day, and we thank you for this wonderful, beautiful gathering that we have today, and we thank you for our lives. As we recognize the lesson that you teach all the time, Creator, we are one. And there's a circle that occurs, and an energy that occurs. We're born, and our spirit that has never been gone joins the body. We grow, we change, we develop, we learn, we go through experiences, we reach a point. Sometimes we leave this body behind, sometimes we just leave our physical place that we're living behind and head somewhere else. We honor those who've left their bodies. Their spirit is never gone. We know the oneness that we feel with Glenn Dunning. He's here with us right now. He never leaves. His love lives on inside of each and every one of us. My love lives on inside of each and every one of you. Creator's love lives inside each and every one of you because we are all one. We are all one with Creator. For that, we can feel nothing but gratitude. For that, we can just know that every person that we look at and we give our love to, and we are honest in our authentic selves, that we are bringing love and healing. Thank you again for this moment and for this time. And thank you for all the wonderful moments and time that have been behind us and that are in front of us and that are right here, right now. We give thanks to you, Creator, 1,000-fold. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Let's go out and have a good week. Let's go out and give love to somebody. Always show your best self. Always show your love. In gratitude we say, blessed be, amen, and so it is.
So it is.
Thank you, Annie, everything you did. We love you.
Love you too, Annie. Happy trails.
Yeah, thank you.
Safe trip. We can't wait to see all the adventures.
I know.
You know, Gail gave me a really good idea yesterday. She said, have a housewarming gift, just open up a Zoom for the day and have people drop in all day through the Zoom. So I'm gonna do that. When I'm ready to have a housewarming, I'll have a Zoom. We'll have a Zoom party, yeah.
Okay.
Love it.
Thank you so very much for joining us. We have coffee in the kitchen. And don't forget, we're going to be doing a goddess ritual of burning the prayers. And that's going to be in
About 15 minutes, so people can have coffee.
so people can have coffee and cookies and talk. Look at each one of you is a child of God. Please speak to other children here today, okay? While you're munching your cookies, and when it's not milk, but it's coffee, and you can communicate just like kindergarten. Thank you so very much for coming. Right now.
Bye.